There we go. That ought to do that. Well, good morning. Oh, it is Friday morning here in Angeles City. Went out to dinner last night. Looked at the news this morning, and it was more of the absurd, off-the-wall crap. Then I looked at YouTube this morning, and it also was more of the absurd, usual crap. It seems like there's just about 10 topics in YouTube, and everybody repeats these topics over and over. Like right now, even the topic I'm talking about, complaining about the topics, it just happens all the time. It does, it is, whatever. So we've got what we think might be a solution for part of that. And in just a little bit, I'm going to introduce it to you, and we're going to get your ideas about it. So last night we went to dinner with friends, which we do about once a week, sometimes twice. And it was pretty non-eventful, to be honest with you. Arlene's getting ready for her trip. Angeles City is still here. The absurd dumbasses are still around. Walking Street is covered with the general and usual, either naive tourists, the sexpats, the this, the that, whatever you want to describe them as. All right. It doesn't change. It really doesn't. I mean, we talk about what was Angeles City like pre-pandemic. What was it like post-pandemic? What is like now, the changes. And honestly, once you get out of the stores at the SM, all right, the malls have definitely changed. It really isn't that different. The streets are still filthy. The trash doesn't get thrown away for 3 or 4 days, so it stinks. It was, what was it yesterday? So yesterday was Thursday, and I went to breakfast at Tequila Reef. And then from Tequila Reef, we went and I had a meeting with a couple of actually friends. They're subscribers, but just by virtue of being friends. All right. And then on the way back, so that was like noonish. And so about 2:00, I get in a trike to go back to Candy Palace, and going down Fields Ave or Perimeter Road. All right. The stench in the heat, in the sunlight, it was like, it's Angeles City. It doesn't, some parts of that just don't change. Good morning, Ricky. How you doing, Ricky? Nice of you. Thank you for dropping by. Robert, be there in 4 weeks. Hope you're feeling better. I'm feeling great. Can't complain. I mean, I guess I could complain, but we're feeling good. It is, it's pretty good. I can't argue. Getting better day by day, up and around and about. I have we have to go to Clark Tuesday, I think it is. Yeah, Tuesday, got to get my labs drawn, do some checking on my BUN and creatinine. But other than that, everything seems to be going well. So it's hard to complain, that's for sure. It wouldn't do me any good to complain. That also is for sure. Hey, California Bear, how are you, CB? Are you still here in the Philippines? Or did you get back to California already? I don't know. So what are we going to do? Well, you know what? We're going to change the channel, not change the channel. We're just going to add something to the channel. Every day I get up and I look at the news. Every day I get up, I look at the market, I look at the news, I look at everything that's going on, I look at YouTube. And every day, you know what? If you did the same thing I did, even if you don't do what I did, but you kind of do what I did, you're going to come to the same conclusion. And that is, there is some absurd shit out there. All right? I mean, there is literally news that I don't know how it makes it to the news. Are the news channels so devoid of anything to report that they can't report more? Are the YouTube channels so limited that they cannot create content without repeating themselves and each other time and time again? I mean, individual creativity is certainly becoming a difficult situation, it seems. California Bear says he's still in Cebu, at least till the rest of the year. Great. Good deal. Hope you're having a good time down there, CB. So anyways, so what did I decide? Well, I decided that perhaps one day a week, maybe twice, maybe as things dictate what it is. All right. I'm going to change some things around. All right. I'm going to introduce a new part of our channel. All right. The WNN, the Worthless News Network is what I'm going to call it. Hector says, my life can't be any more worse than the millions of people in the Phils living in poverty. How you doing, Mike? I'm doing great, Hector. And you know something? There are people living in poverty, Hector, all over the world. The Philippines does not have a absolute, first place, whatever, and when it comes to poverty. I mean, poverty is something that exists all over the world. And for those of you that have never been to Africa or to some of the southern continental, South America, some places, you know what? Poverty exists everywhere. But we're going to get back to what I was saying. Liam is here this morning. Good morning, Liam. How are you? Thanks for dropping in. So, the Worthless News Network, WNN. In fact, I will give you a brief, let me see here. The Worthless News Network. Let me see if I can do that to where you can actually see it. There we go. And that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the Worthless News Network. It's news and events from the Philippines, from bloggers, international, other countries, other places, other things. All right? That's what it's going to be. Like, for instance, I could tell you about how worthless some of the other things are that's going on in the scheme of things, in the scheme of the world, how I consider them to be just garbage. Okay? Or why is it? And that it even makes the news is the news networks so devoid of anything of intellectual interest, okay, that matters, that it has to be filled with that. I mean, don't get me wrong, real news is real news, okay? But let's be honest, okay? some news is really not news. That's just the honest truth. It's just garbage. But so I'm gonna start with some of that in the future. We're gonna see where that goes. So when and if you should come across worthless news, shoot us an email. Send us an email and say, hey, Mike, did you see this? This is worthless. Or when you see a worthless YouTube, whether it's in the Philippines or somewhere else, send us a link so that we can show it. Let's make fun of the reality of bullshit. Isn't that what it's about? Hi, Mike. Bryce Wetzel. Hi, Mike. This is my first time I've commented. I came here 2 years ago and have gotten married, bought a farm, learned how to accept the culture. Wow, Bryce. That is a big jump. Even in a 2-year period, getting married, farming. I mean, I'm assuming you live out in the province areas. First off, I hope that you're happy. That's what really matters, isn't it? Happiness. And that if you're happy, isn't that what really counts? So best of luck to you. Philly in the Philippines. Good morning, Brian. How are you? Saw your full moon extravaganza. I think they were trying to duplicate the full moon festivals that they have in Thailand. They're going to have a ways to go before they get that far. Michael Atos, breaking news from my computer. My hand went numb from dumping beer on it for late night pleasure. Okay, Mike, that's a topic we could probably deal with. I would deal with another. I have a video coming out. So remember, maybe you have seen, I have 5 videos ready to go. Okay? And I've been too lazy to make thumbnails to pump them out. Well, the other day, I came across another one. There was a YouTube video from a guy in Australia where there's a movement to ban G-strings and thongs at the beach on the Gold Coast of Australia. And I thought to myself, wow, that's very strange. And it's very strange for a number of reasons. Okay. So I had to go do some research. I had to go look up some stuff. We're going to ban, these people want to ban G-strings and thongs, saying it's just not necessary to expose that much of you. That was one of their interviewed, because this was done on a major news network, Channel 7. For those of you in Australia, I got no idea what Channel 7 is, but apparently it's a major news network. So we're watching that. Then I did some research. First off, do you know how many nude beaches are in Australia? Now, these are designated by the government and local governments as being nude beaches. Yet, it's okay to be nude, but they're now trying to ban thongs and G-string bikinis. Does this make any sense to you? All right. I mean, I couldn't get an exact count, but looking at like 4 or 5 different websites, I came up with like 50 nude beaches, recognized nude beaches in Australia. But they're going to ban G-strings and thong bikinis. It just doesn't make sense to me. Really doesn't. So then I started thinking, okay, where is the next step of absurdity in this go? What is the next thing that makes it foolish? All right. So we're gonna ban G-strings and thongs and this is in Australia, not the Philippines. G-strings and thongs at the beach. But prostitution in Australia is legal. It is legal to sell peck. All right. For more, I mean, you can't have, I mean, certain areas actually they have, I did delve a little bit. You can, brothels are very hard to come by. I guess you have special licensure and only in certain areas. But for an individual woman to solicit from her home by advertisement, not, you can't go on the street, apparently. All right. There are strict laws against that, apparently. But it is legal. Prostitution is legal in Australia. So it's legal to sell sex in Australia. It's legal, and there are literally dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of nude beaches in Australia. But they are wanting, somebody is pushing to ban G-strings and thong bikinis. Now, I have a video that's going to come out on this later the week. All right, it's already done. I just haven't made the thumbnail. And it'll have a link to the actual news clip from the channel, you know, talking about who it is and what's going on and the mayor and this and that. I mean, but I find that absurd. Don't you find that absurd? I don't know. What would your thoughts be on that? Hector says, that's a good channel name, Cow Dung Reality Show. I think just the Worthless News Network will work just fine. I mean, we will probably do something like that. The let me see. There we go. I can move that over there. That's how my logo is going to start out for it. The Worthless News Network. But you know, one thing at a time. I'm still getting stuff done for that. But I mean, certainly we could all use a little laugh in our lives. Philly says, stress-free is the way to be. Yeah, Philly, I can understand that. It looks like you've been stress-free and having a good time down there. That's for sure. Dardos, how you doing, Dardos? Hola, buenos dias. Ay, ¿cómo está? Hope you're doing well. Gengio Philippine Journey. Morning, everyone in my good morning, Gengio. How are you guys doing? All right. Hope you're doing well. I really and truly do. Philly says, who doesn't like a sexy woman in a G-string? If you don't want to see it, don't go to the beach. Well, you know, I think it's absurd. Even if that were the case, for a country to even have areas that are considering it, okay, when at the same time the country has legal designated nude beaches. It's okay to be nude, but it's not okay to be in a thong or a G-string. Or in a country that would say that a thong or a G-string is too exposed, yet prostitution is legal. I don't get it. I really don't. Michael says, I can see banning G-strings on guys like me. Yeah. No kidding. Look, you know what? You're never going to catch me in a Speedo, and that's all there is to it. And you certainly aren't going to catch me in a thong. All right. Liam says the Philippines has the biggest rooster hotel in the world. I didn't know there was a Rooster Hotel. Okay. I'm going to have to look that one up, Liam, because I didn't. People rent hotel room. It's a hotel room for Rooster. I'm unfamiliar with that all the way. Mickey Free says, my mate, I lived in Perth, West Australia for 15 years. The ladies could go topless at the bloody beach. Yeah, that's my point, Mickey. You can have topless beaches. You can have nude beaches, but now they want to ban G-strings and thongs. I don't get it. You can have a topless beach. You can have nude beaches. Prostitution's totally legal. All right? Totally legal. It's prostitution is legal in Australia. Prostitution is legal in England. So for every one of these puritanical, holier than thou, rolling the holy dice every day, talking about how uptight and upright and everything is that are from Australia or the UK, prostitution's legal in your countries. That means it's your country, your citizen, you vote, you're a part of it. And I got nothing else I could say about that. And personally, I don't care. It's not my point, not my place to care, So, that was just one of the pieces of absurd news that I have come across. I'm getting to the point where I watch these YouTubers talking about I'm living on this amount of money or this amount of money or this amount of money. You know something? More power to them. I really and truly believe everybody should be allowed to live however it is they feel that they want to live, that they can afford to live, that makes them happy. If they are happy living in a shoebox, then let them live in a shoebox and be happy about it. Let them live wherever they want. If they want to live underneath a bridge, if they want to live in a Nipa hut, if they want to live in a structure where they have they have I see this often. Oftentimes we see people showing their homes, and they'll have a not a split air, but the window units, so they've knocked out a hollow block, they've placed the window unit, and there's a 2-inch gap all the way around, or not all the way around, but 2 or 3 sides of this window unit for every bug, medium snake, mosquitoes, everything else to come in. And I don't know how you manage to have that, as an insulation barrier, because it's not. All right. But if that makes them happy, if they are happy with that, great. More power to them. Hector says, are you sure the article where you read suppose it is not from No. This was actually on Channel 7 News in Australia, and they were actually interviewing people about it, and talking about it. And then they interviewed the guy that is actually leading the crusade to put this thing up to a vote. So, no, it's for real. Mickey Free, I may have visited a place of love, was clean, and could have a cold one in Aussie land. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. It's not up to us or you or anybody else to judge. We all judge people but we should keep our mouths shut about it. Our opinions are pretty much worthless. Other people have their own way of life, and that is simple. I mean, there are people with very simple lives and people with very complicated lives in every country, including the Philippines. The bikini thing, it's about revenue. Make money without working for it. Easy money. I don't understand how that's about money. It's about revenue. I'm not sure I understand how that applies, Kyle, but maybe it does. I don't know. Yeah, no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link up, and if anybody would like to join and have a discussion, bring up a topic, or just in general drop in, please do feel free. Hit the link and come on board. So what else was out there when it comes to what else? Let's see here. Bum 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 band. Yep. Well, you know what? There's just a lot of things. Bryce, I was a open heart surgery nurse and came to the Philippines to relax. I'm so sorry you had to go through one of the first symptoms is respiratory distress difficulty. Yeah, you know what, Bryce? That was nobody's fault but my own. That was my own fault. And I take full responsibility for not taking care of myself, for ignoring things, for not listening to my wife. All right. I knew better. I absolutely knew better. I was wrong. And I admit it. You know, the one thing about us that makes us a little different than some people, there are others that are just like us. When we make a mistake, we'll own up to it. We said we made a mistake. I made a mistake. I really and truly did. Okay? It happens. I ignored everything. So what else is going on? Oh, yeah. So we're getting ready for Halloween. Let me throw a plug out there real quick. So Halloween night, Walking Street, we will have literally hundreds and hundreds of kids out there, and we will be giving out, throwing out, passing out candy. If you would like to participate, feel free. You can go to Walking Street, do it yourself. You don't have to be a part of our effort. Or you can join us in front of Club Lucifer. We will usually start between 8:30 and 9, all right, to start pushing candy out there. Bring your own candy. We recommend that you bring individually wrapped candies because everything else just becomes a mess. It really and truly does. But please feel free. We would welcome anybody and everybody to participate. It's a fun event. It's all for the kids. It really and truly is. And we have a good time. We do this every year. We've already been out and gotten our first candy run. So we have our first load of candy. Maybe today or tomorrow, we're going to have to go get the next load of candy. Then we're going to have to start tearing it apart, mixing it up, getting it ready. And we'll do a video on that. But we welcome anybody. Halloween night, Walking Street. And you know what? I've said this before. I got no idea why that's where the kids will congregate. I have no idea. There are better places, that's for sure. But they are, and it is what it is. So, let's see here. Bum, bum, bum. So this is pretty much, oh, I have to do that a different way. Just a second. There we go. The Worthless News Network. News and event. Oh, all right. I still am working on these transitions. I don't know. Hold on. I'll get it right. And freeze it. There you go. The Worthless News Network. Sorry about that, folks. The Worthless News Network. I will we'll get it right. We will. Boom. There we go. Bruce, sorry about that. We'll get it right, Bryce. It is going to be events and news of absurdities, of ridiculous things, of things that just make no sense. I mean, there's enough of it out there to really just put something out every week. There really and truly is. We come across a lot of news that comes through like that. And there we go. So it all comes out one way or the other. One of the things that we try and deal with, we do our very best to avoid politics. But sometimes the absurd is political. It really and truly is. And I'm going to do my best to stay away from that. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen. I wish I had a little bit better outlook or look at those types of things. But I know that once in a while you have to point it out. You really and truly do. So yesterday, I was sitting here at my desk. This was probably maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I hear all of this racket, like you often hear it like during election time. They'll be out making racket and marching for so-and-so election and everything else, okay? And I'm like, what the hell? It's not election time yet. So I opened up the sliding glass doors and stepped outside out into the balcony. Downstairs, there were about 20 people dressed up in, I would say, native attire, although I'm not so sure it's really native attire. It was very colorful and indigenous looking, but I'm not sure it was really indigenous of the Philippines. All right. And they had like a drum roll, 5 or 6 guys on drums and this and that, and cultural dancers. And they were literally dancing and beating a drum and yelling. And they even had a guy with fire, all right, wanting people here to throw money down from the balconies. And I was like, really? On the one hand, I kind of wanted to, but on the other hand, I kind of wanted to avoid that. I didn't want I don't encourage that. To me, I don't want to encourage that to take place in front of our condo building on a routine basis. It ties up traffic. I mean, these were not an orderly line of people. Okay, they were in the middle of the street. People were trying to back up. People were trying to go through. They have to move. You know, it just it was like, I don't know. It kind of reminded me many years ago. I went on. It was ex-wife number 2 and I went on a cruise, and there were kids that, and I've heard this happen in the Philippines too, kids jumping from the piers into the water to go after coins that people were throwing from the boat. Well, okay, so be it, whatever, but that's not what's going on here. And these were not kids. This was more like an organized begging effort. So I don't know. I didn't find that to be really impressive. When a kid, my dad took in a coworker named Frank Wetzel from Pittsburgh, living in Michigan in the 80s. There we go. But just a different one. Not a relative of mine, but thanks for asking, Bryce says. If you like music, Mickey Free says, if you like music, might listen to Jeffrey Gramo-Yerping is a blind Aboriginal singer-songwriter and guitarist. I saw him a time or two, but his guitar is played upside down. Sad he passed, but he's an Aboriginal from which country? Is he a Australian Aboriginal, Mickey? I've never heard of him, though. Michael says he was a Vietnam vet, lost his job, divorced, PD, and my dad let us share my room for a year. Nice guy, but lost his way. It happens. It happens all the time. I mean, we see people like that here. We see veterans that have lost their way. We tend to think sometimes, of Vietnam veterans and everything, but there are veterans of Afghanistan, veterans of Iran. There are veterans of many things, veterans of many different conflicts. And it's not just American veterans. Okay, there are Australian veterans, there are British veterans, there are veterans, all kinds. Mickey Free says it was Aussie. So it was Aussie, an Aboriginal from Australia. Okay. JJ the Lonely Bull sitting down there having coffee in BGC, I bet, today. I don't know. JJ may be on the road exploring part of the Philippines, but he bases himself out of BGC. Has a great channel, interesting stuff. You guys might want to give him a look. I'm going to put the link up. If anybody is interested, there's the link. Come on in, join us, tell us what you think. So, absurd news. That is what it's going to be. Now, today, I promise, I am going to get all the thumbnails for all of my videos out and get all of the videos scheduled in the next week. JJ says he's heading to Thailand on Sunday. Oh, great. Have a good trip, JJ. I hope you're going to make it out to, you've been there before. It's all fun. It's all fun. And it's hard to beat Thai food. They have great food. Hard to beat. Hard to beat. For those of you that don't know, Focus on Asia, JR, he's a big Thailand guy. He lives right here. He and his wife live here in Angeles, but they do big Asian trips and Thailand, and he has some really great stuff. So it is what it is. So yes, absurd news. News that is just crazy. I mean, things that just make no sense. Like Walking Street, for instance. Walking Street here. I will give you one small statistic. Now, I have a video that's going to come out that has this in it, but I'm going to give you one small statistic. Napoleon Bonaparte, in I think it was 1829 or 1859, something like that. Napoleon Bonaparte escaped from jail, stole a boat, sailed it to Cannes, France, put together a group of guys, went into Paris and overthrew the Parisian government and took over the country, literally the government of France. Then he put together an army of 250,000 people, went up to Belgium and took it over. Now, he was then defeated, of course, at Waterloo, everybody knows, and then thrown back in jail. All right? With that being said, all of that took place in a 100-day span. It's called the 100-day war. 100 days. It's now been more than 100 days, and they can't fix, pave, recondition 700 yards of street, Walking Street. So, to me, that's absurd. Let's see here. Urban 9. You see that barefoot vlogger guy, his latest vlog in Angeles City, those trans kept bothering him when he was trying to eat at Philly's. Barefoot vlogger. I've never even heard of the guy called the barefoot vlogger. I really don't. But it wouldn't surprise me. Is that his name? I don't know. Urban? I don't know. So going to Pattaya, I imagine JJ will be around a couple places. They thought he was filming them, but he was really filming himself. He handled it well, though. No, I mean, I'm trying to think, barefoot vlogger, who would have been up there? I don't know. There was a shooting murder early yesterday morning in Makati at Chinese Hot Pot, caught on CCTV. Did it involve Chinese? Did it involve Americans? I mean, who knows? Philippines Sunset Travel. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for dropping by. We really appreciate it. Sunset Travel's right here in Angeles City as well. Urban 9, he's in Makati. Which place? Waterloo was 1815, I think. Let me look and see. This happened, yes, between March and June of 1815. Napoleon escaped from his prison on Elba, assembled 600 troops that he landed in Cannes, faced down and recruited a regiment by his personality, built blah, blah, blah. You'll have to watch the video. It'll be coming out. Okay, so it was 1815. Yes, you're absolutely correct, Ricky. Absolutely. This is a new vlogger living in the area that my wife is from, Diplong, Philippines. Less than $1,000 a month, Philippine life through the eyes of an expat. Good info. You know what? People can live on whatever they want. All right. If you know what, just because he lives on less than $1,000 a month doesn't mean you can. Doesn't mean you would be happy, but it doesn't mean you wouldn't be happy. You might like it. I know I could not live here in the Philippines on less than $1,000 a month. And I could tell you right now, I know, I know that Arlene and I together could not live in the Philippines on $2,000 a month. But that's us. That's simple. I mean, that's just us. There are people that live on far less. There are whole families that live on far less. So, yeah, Philippine life through the eyes of an expat. Okay. Good deal. JJ says Chinese arguing at a table. Guy got up, plugged the other guy 4 times. Guy stood up for about 5 seconds, fell over. Wow. Nice. That'll hurt. Iggy. Good morning, Mike. I'll be in AC with maybe that's with wife and have breakfast at post 123. Okay, Iggy. Well, Tuesdays and Thursdays, if you're looking for breakfast and you don't have anything to go, I have breakfast unless something's going on. Unless, like next Tuesday, I have an appointment in the morning at the doctor for lab work that's fasting. So I won't be at Tequila Reef next Tuesday, but Tequila Reef Tuesdays and Thursdays. JJ and AJ, I'm trying to find a news story on it. Where did you see it? Good luck finding the news story. Good morning, Mike. I'll be... good morning finding the news story. I mean, I'm just going to tell you how it is. It was Father's Day. It was the day after Father's Day. My daughter was here in the Philippines with her boyfriend visiting. And we were spending a couple days in Manila prior to hopping on, putting her and her boyfriend on their flight back. And we had Glorietta and a couple of other things. So anyways, so we are staying at the Makati, what do they call it? Grand Central. It's the one where the Firefly rooftop restaurant is. City Grand. Yeah, City Grand, I think is what it's called, if I'm not mistaken. We stay there often. It's right there on Makati Ave, 1 block down from P. Borges. I get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm up at 10 minutes. I'm up at 6. At 10 minutes of 7, the restaurant is going to open at 7. I go up to the rooftop. I'm going to have coffee, read the news, because I don't want to keep Arlen awake. To make a long story short, at 7 o'clock a.m., I'm not the only, there's another guy up there. At 7:01, he gets up from his table, takes 2 steps to the railing, and over he goes. And it's like, I want to say 38 floors or something like that. And this was no accident. He did this on purpose. He emptied his pockets and everything before he jumped. That never made the news that I could find. Good morning, Trump lost. How you doing? Paul Rogers. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Looking too good on that diet of yours, Mike. Come on now, be honest. Has to be more than just the diet and exercise. What's the secret? No. My endocrinologist has actually recommended or not recommended, but offered to put me on Ozempic. Uh, uh, but right now, I seem to be doing okay on my diet, and so I'm going to stick with that rather than get on the Ozempic. So that's it. Ricky Free, Mickey. I spent time in Contentuan, land of howling winds between 99 and 70. Wow. Miss the food like Dingwan, Goodbye More, Masarap. We'll be back maybe in April. I didn't like, something we tell people you gotta have a reason to want to be here. If all you're looking for is bar life, that's the wrong reason to be in Angeles. And if you have certain expectations, Angeles will crush them. Angeles is not a clean city. Angeles is disorganized, but it has some things that are critical. It has good malls. It has an international airport, and it has high-end medical care without having the traffic of Manila, Quezon City, Makati, BGC. So there are reasons why it works. Mike, I hope you put your daughter's boyfriend in check. No, they've, he was in the coach. I didn't, he was in coach, not business, but I was a reasonable person. I may have to change my screen name in a few weeks. Definitely going to be. Oh, you know what? I got to tell you, if you look at the polls, if you look at everything that's going on, I think that he stands a solid chance. Heard this from my Chinese friend here in BGC. Good luck in trying to find it. Hi, from Queens, New York. All the hoopla about this guy, Jay in the Clink. Did he ever go to your meetup? Jay, all right, so you're talking about Jungle Man, Space Cowboy, I think. The guy that supposedly or allegedly got busted with 2 kilos of weed. That's, I think, who you're talking about. Have I met him? Yes. Did he come to one of our meet and greets? Yes. Did he go to other meet and greets that we went to also? Yes. Is he a little socially awkward? Yes. Do I know anything other than that? No. I will tell you something right now. We don't touch anything illegal with a 10-foot pole. And that is the bottom line. And I have never, ever been and even though I come from a place where medicinal marijuana is totally legal, where recreational marijuana is totally legal, never participated in it at all. But I do believe that there are for sure definitive and definite advantages to medicinal weed. I really and truly do. So I think that's who you're talking about, W. He goes by Jungle Man, Space Cowboy. I think that's who you're talking about. Did he ever go? Yes, like I said, he's been to several of our meet and greets, and I've run into him on the street. I mean, Angeles is not really that big when you come right down to it. When you look at what there is for um, expats, not just Americans, but all the way across. You've got the malls, you've got the general area of restaurants around, and then that's really it. I mean that's there's limitations. There's some golfing, driving range, a couple of other things, but there are limitations. Okay, Angeles is not a monster-sized city by any way, shape, or means. It just isn't. And the expats are a much tighter knit group than you would think. Now, I'm not saying the YouTubers are a tighter knit group. I'm just saying expats in general. And I'm not saying all of them associate with all of them. They definitely are different cliques, for sure. But they all have some very common things. They all go to one of about 20 different restaurants outside of the mall. They all go to the mall eventually. They all, have commonalities. The other thing to keep in mind, not all expats go to the bars. Not all expats deal with bar girls. Not all expats are on Walking Street hunting down that proverbial evening of whatever you want, debauchery. Some of them go to laugh. Some of them make it a social event, a social outing with friends. All right. Some of them go see friends. There's all kinds of reasons other than, you know what? You want a great hot dog? Go to Pappy's on Walking Street. Great. One of the best hot dogs in town. You want a good hot dog with chili. Okay? It's that simple. Look, there are all kinds of reasons. Michael says, I have a few expat friends that retired in the Philippines and think they are still in America with American laws. I tell them good luck, hope they stay. You know something? If you cannot adapt, if you refuse to adapt, you will be the victim of circumstances, period. And you will get in trouble. It's not America. It's not the UK. This is not Australia. The laws are Philippine laws are Philippine laws. JJ says, I watched the video, 4 guys and 1 woman in a small room around a hot pot table, one guy standing at the door, one guy standing up across. That's a terrible thing, JJ. It really and truly is. Nobody needs for that to happen in their life. Prepper, expat prepper, wow. How are you? It's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for joining. Thanks for dropping in. Hands the gun. Yeah, JJ. I don't know. Wherever, however, whatever. It's a sad thing. Loss of life is just a sad thing. Period. It's something that we should not really dramatize. I mean, you know what? I think what's important here is to recognize that, yeah, shit happens. There are bad people everywhere. Everywhere there are bad people. There are good people and there are bad people. And you can't deny that. It just doesn't matter. Gun violence is a horrible thing, happens in the U.S. more frequently than anywhere else, according to the statistics that I've seen. I don't know. I could be wrong. I've never really done an in-depth look at it, but all of the headlines that I've ever seen say the statistics say that, gun violence happens in the U.S. more than anywhere else. And it wouldn't surprise me. It really and truly wouldn't. I don't know anybody in the U.S. that didn't own a gun. Multiple guns. Nobody whatsoever. My daughter owns a gun. My daughter owns a gun. Period. Looked like the Chinese mafia. It's possible. I don't know anything about the Chinese mafia. So I couldn't tell you. Prepper says, me and the wife love our firearms, practice often. Yeah. My daughter has a gun. My brother has multiple guns because he had some. And then when we moved here, I gave him mine. I split my guns between him and my best friend. Okay. I had a concealed carry permit in Arizona that was good, and at that time, it was probably good in about 20 some different states. Full background check, everything else. I don't know anybody, but on the other hand, maybe that's why gun violence is so high in the U.S. Barry in the PI, good morning. Made the live stream. Hi, Barry. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Let's hope Taal is not blowing up today. Michael, public service notice. Don't bring your criminal tendency to the Philippines. You have no bail. And that is really true. Michael is absolutely correct. There's no guarantee you're going to get bail. There's no guarantee you're going to do a lot of different things. What there is a guarantee of is if you break the law, the Philippines will prosecute you to the fullest extent, 99% of the time, or to the fullest extent until you pay your way out of that situation, whether it's by bail, whether it's by fine, whether it's by whatever. And we'll just leave it at that. Okay? Let's see here. I'm going to put that link back up. If anybody would like to join, feel free. For those of you that are just now joining, we are going to start a new thing in the future. Okay? And let's see here. We are going to start the WNN, the Worthless News Network. News and events from the Philippines, international, whatever, of stupid news. Just like the one this morning that came out of Australia, banning the guys that are wanting to ban thongs and G-string bikinis on the beaches. Okay? It's okay. It's legal in your country prostitution is legal. All right, in Australia, nude beaches are legal and prolific in Australia. Topless beaches are legal and prolific in Australia. But you're so puritanical you can't have a woman wear a thong? I don't know how that works, to be honest. GD, how are you, GD? Thanks for joining us. Barry, I owned a 22 when I was in junior high. After I served in the Navy, I traded the rifle to an old friend from high school for a box of Playboy. Good for you, Barry. Good for you. Michael, has Mike reached out to you yet? No, he has not. I do not know how that situation is or where it goes or anything like that. I hope that, him and millions of others are safe from the weather that's taken place in the past month, 30 days. More recently, just like last week, but still, I hope that that people are safe. But no, he's not reached out to us at all, and I wouldn't expect it, to be honest with you. Do you stay in touch with Philly and the Philippines? I always wonder why not just move to Clark. It seems suburban, gated homes, generally safe. Clark, we had a choice. We had a choice between three areas. We could have moved to Clark. All right. GD, I've got a video coming out, but it was Channel 7 News in Australia. Okay. And there's a guy that's trying to get the local government to vote on banning thongs and bikinis. That's from Channel 7. I have a video that's coming out later this week. It'll have a link to the YouTube, but you could probably search it on YouTube. It's there now. Let me see. It might be possible. No, I can't. Sorry. Let's see here. Oh, so we looked at three different areas. Oh my goodness. We looked at, we looked at Amsak, Pulo Amsak. We looked at Clark, and we looked here in Malabañas. And I kind of thought of it like this. When it comes down to rentals, when I die, this unit, in all likelihood, will become a rental unit for Arlene. She'll use it as rental income. I think that Malabañas offers the best rental area for tourists, and that's why not Clark for us. And yes, we stay in touch with Brian quite a bit. Absolutely. Barry, women don't have staples in their belly buttons in real life. Mickey Free, China, I think one day was like a bad dream. The next day was shit. Hong Kong was party time. Beijing was cold. Even Shanghai was drunk. And really, I do not remember. You know what? Hong Kong, I spent years in Hong Kong as a kid, running around the streets as a kid. Had a great time. I would never have lived there as an adult. All right. Yes, local government control beaches. Yes, absolutely. Mates Channel 7, 9 was the big ones in Austin. Yeah, I don't know. I know that this was the YouTube video that I watched had interviews from Channel 7. It had their logo, their reporter talking to people about what do you think about people wearing bikinis, and this is not going to go anywhere. I just put it out there because it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd that someone would do this in a country that has legal prostitution, legal nude beaches and legal topless beaches. And you and I both know it's just not going to happen. Okay? No, this was, hang on, GD. I think I can get the link for you. Wait a second. Bum, 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 bum. Bikini battle. Gold Coast afire with debate over banning G-string bikinis. Now, what I'm going to try and do is copy this. And this was 8 months ago. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it as old. All right. But, paste. GD, I think that link will take you to it. So, JJ, Mike, what platform do you use for your live stream? StreamYard doubled their rates from 25 a month to 50, so I'll be looking for something cheaper. JJ, I use Ecamm. I've always used Ecamm. I like it better than StreamYard. It's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be much cheaper than, for the professional version, but it is a much stronger platform than StreamYard ever was. And it's not real old news, GD. It's 8 months. Come on. I'm old news. Look at me. I mean, I'm old. But 8 months isn't really that old. Did you hear about the British man who recently passed and upon autopsy found he had 3 penises? Rare condition for sure. No, Hector, never heard of it, but maybe I'll look it up. So GD says, Channel 7, look for stories. It won't happen. I don't know. You know something? GD, I'm just going to be honest with you. As I said, we're going to start doing stuff that's absurd, news about the absurd. And I thought that was absurd. How could anybody want to ban G-strings and thongs in a country with legal prostitution, legal nude beaches, and legal topless beaches? So that is it. It would have ended up being just different. Let's see here. See, I would have put it right down there. Like I said, I'm still working on the overlays and everything else. So, WNN, the Worthless News Network. That's what it boils down to. So, either way, let me get rid of that. Got to get, there we go. Get rid of that. I got to clean up a few things here. Mickey says, have you been in the past 4 years? No. It's probably been about 10 years since I've been to Hong Kong. I have no reason to really go back to it. GD, the meter maids wear bikinis on the Gold Coast. GD, I don't know. I am not, I'm not even close to an authority on Australia. There's so much I don't know about it. It's ridiculous. I recently found out Philippines has nude beaches. One is in Zambales. JJ, I don't know, JJ. Zambales. Zambales is the one that is north of Subic, going north of Subic. But I didn't know that there is a nude beach. I thought they were really, public nudity is against the law here in the Philippines. I mean, there's actually a ordinance about public nudity. Even though it seems like you can piss against the wall anywhere, public nudity is actually against the law. Maybe there's a privately owned beach. I don't know. JJ, tell me some information about this. I'd like to research it. I really and truly would. Let's see here. Paste. I think you'd have a lot of people that would be interested in that, to be honest with you. So, but anyways, so we're going to start once a week or so. We're going to have a video on absurd news. And it doesn't, you know what? Some of it is just going to be bullshit. And I'll be honest with you, some of it might be YouTubers that are putting out information that is so far misleading and bullshit that we say something about it. I'm not going to attack people or anything like that whatsoever. But at some point, you got to be reasonable. I think you should be reasonable. It should be time to be reasonable. Who knows? Who knows? You know what? I could die next month when I have my next cardiac cath. So who knows? I could be out there throwing candy, all right, to kids on Halloween and have a heart attack. So who knows? I was told by a Filipina that she belongs to a nudist club. She showed me photos and videos. Might be a private area. Yeah, well, you know what? If you can find a private area, that's fine. You know something, JJ? We're going to leave this in your wheelhouse. We look forward to you coming to this channel and telling us about it. All right? Or putting out a video on your own channel. Folks, by the way, JJ does have a channel. All right? It will. We're going to all count on you, JJ, to update us. Bulldog, Walking Street looks great. I'll be there in February. Can't wait to see it. Hopefully I can have coffee. You know what, Bulldog? We can have coffee but Walking Street does not look great. I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now. Let me see. You know something? I don't have. Hold on. I might be able to toss something, anything here. Hold on. I gotta try and find let's see here. Let me see if this is it. Okay. Maybe. No. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to try this. I'm not going to guarantee that it's going to work. Because I've never done it, but there. That's Walking Street less than 12 hours ago. That's Walking Street last night. All right. That is a 2.5 foot drop off. That great big chunk of whatever it is, that's concrete. that's pipes, that's trash. And I would say fully half of Walking Street is like that right now. And it is, they're breaking all this new concrete. They're breaking. They're busting up all this new concrete. That's Walking Street last night. I don't see it. I really and truly do not see. I don't know when they're going to get done. All right. Is it going to be the eighth wonder of the world that it's taken so damn long to just, I don't know. I do not know, but I'm telling you, that's what it looked like last night. Now, when it gets done, this is what I would say. When it gets done, it's going to look great for about 3 months. And I think it's going to start falling apart within 6 months. Australian kangaroo beer, boomerang sheep, giant knives, alligators' cousins, and a bouncing giant mouse with a pouch. I learned this from cartoon. Oh. Bulldog says, wow, I saw better photos than that. Yeah, on the other side. Now, part of it is paved in the middle. All right. But I mean, it's still nowhere near done, Bulldog. I really and truly, nowhere near done. It really and truly isn't. I think what he was asking was, I like swimming with bully-legged ladies, mate. Yeah, they have bikinis and uniforms. Get down there. I don't know. I really don't know. For all you old time, Mitzi Gaynor passed away. Yes. So Barry says, I worked as a park ranger for the county at a park called Hippie Hollow in Texas. Oh, I've been there, Barry. Barry, you've been to Hippie Hollow? Really? Hippie Hollow was actually quite the wild time. Barry, I had no idea whatsoever. I'm trying to see where else I have another. I took 2 pictures last night. So yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to see it in this picture. I'm standing on the street that connects to where Tequila Reef is. And it's hard to see the depth perception. The street goes to about where the first trike is behind that girl in the black dress. Okay? And then it's a 2.5-foot drop into the dirt. And for those of you that don't know, at Club Lucifer right in front, that's where we will be throwing candy. So all of this will be full of kids with candy on Halloween night. But yeah, Barry, it was a real experience. I am sure it was, Barry. That is for sure. But all right, folks, I am going to get going. I've got stuff I've got to get done today. I promise you I'm going to get these videos taken care of and get them out of here. Otherwise, I want to thank everybody for dropping by and for saying hello and dropping in. We certainly appreciate it. And we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day and a start to your weekend, if indeed it's Friday where you're at. Otherwise, keep hanging in there. It'll be Friday tomorrow. Take care. Be good.